Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you guys for tuning into Code Black Facts. You guys know I love you and I do appreciate you. So, I want to come to you guys and talk to you about this whole Will Smith and the Chris Rock. You guys know Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars. And, since then, there's been a lot of talk about the Black community, stereotypes. You got, white women out here talking about they're still traumatized. So, I kind of wanted to go over it all and when I'm looking at some of this stuff that's going on social media and some of the conversations that people are having, I'm sitting back and I'm just like, you know, taking it all in, but I'm just like kind of surprised because what I see is that I see a lot of black people going harder than the white people, and it's like, it's one thing to have your opinions. It's one thing to say, okay, Will Smith was wrong. He should have handled it a different way. He could have did it a different way, or whatever your opinion may be. Some people say he was, right for defending his wife. Whatever side of the road you're standing on, whatever that is, okay, that's fine. It can be that. But for a lot of black people out here to be acting like the attack dogs for those in a dominant society is disgusting. It's straight up disgusting. Nobody's not saying that you can't disagree or you can't have your own thoughts. Have your own thoughts. Disagree. You're human. You have your own mind. You have your own intellect and your own way that you process your logic. Okay, fine. That's fine. No one's saying not to have that. But you can have that, say your piece and then be done. But you got people just going harder than the white people. It's like, really? So seeing that online, it made me think of a very, very popular video from Malcolm X. I'm gonna play it because it really helps us understand the mindset. And even though this speech was given, 40 years ago or somewhere up in there, it still rings true today. So I want to play this speech. When I come back, we're gonna get more back into the commentary because I also want to talk about the talk with Cheryl Underwood and what she said, because apparently Cheryl Underwood is afraid to go on to do stand up comedy now because that slap just made her afraid. As if anything, and this is the thing, this is how I know it's fake, because if anything, it wasn't a woman that slapped Chris Rock, it was a man. So what is Cheryl Underwood afraid of? She's saying that she's afraid of black men now? Or is she just afraid of the black community? Or I mean, like, what is it? And I have been to her comedy shows before. I've been to two of Cheryl Underwood's comedy show. Cheryl Underwood is a great stand-up comic. Cheryl Underwood's comedy show is completely different than what you guys see on the talk. It's almost like she turns into a completely different person. She gets way more ratchet, way more ghetto. And this is why I'm like, girl, you talking about you afraid. I mean, that you don't think that you'll be able to do stand-up comedy. But if you've been to her comedy show before, it's like, girl, the ratchetness in the stand-up comedy, like, really? You ain't afraid because you about that life. You ain't afraid because you'll be the beat ass. You ain't afraid because you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, and I know it's just comedy, but it's like it doesn't go together, Cheryl. It doesn't go together. And this is not about Cheryl. This is not about, really anything. This is about the black community as a whole. Because I don't feel comfortable sitting back watching black people do the dirty work of those in a dominant society. Like, a lot of black people are doing the dirty work. If white people want to be mad and outraged, let white people be mad and outraged. If your other people want to be mad, and okay, that's fine. But to jump in, you got to go the hardest, you got to be the loudest, you got to be the most seen. We got to stop that. We really do. So let's jump into this let's go back in time and jump into this Malcolm X um video, and then we'll come back afterwards. Oh,
Slavery and the field Negro.
oh,
Back during slavery,
hold on.
there was two kinds of referred to as the house Negro and the field Negro. Back during slavery, there was two kinds of slaves. There was the house Negro and the field Negro. The house Negro, they lived in the house with master. They dressed pretty good. They ate good because they ate his food, what he left. They lived in the attic or the basement, but still they lived near their master. And they loved their master more than the master loved himself. They would give their life to save their master's house quicker than the master would. The house Negro, if the master said, we got a good house here, the house Negro said, yeah, we got a good house here. Whenever the master said we, he said we. That's how you can tell a house Negro.
So it's like many Black people, we wait on those in a dominant society to tell us when to be mad and outraged. It's like we get permission from them to tell us when we can be the attack dogs to attack, somebody. And again, this is not about, look, what Will could have handled that a different way. Will could, or he could not. It was his decision. It was his choice. Okay, whatever. Whether I agree with that or not, and I can't say that I necessarily agree with how he did it, but I do agree that if you got an issue with how somebody is doing mistreating your wife, or you want to defend your wife, then defend your wife. Now, for everybody, that's gonna be something different. And for Will Smith, he chose to defend his wife the way that he chose to defend his wife. And so it's like, I'm going to say my piece about it and then I'm done. That's it for me. I don't have to prove to white people that, oh, well, I'm a different type of Black person. See, those Black people over there, they are violent. Because that's what it looks like to me. It looks like a bunch of people who's in a classroom and everybody's raising their hand to prove how they not like those Black folks over there. And my thing is, when it comes to proving anything, it's how you live your life. It's how if people on your job, if they think you ghetto, even though you may be the most professional person on your job, you may be well spoken, you may be the most intelligent, but at the end of the day, if them people on your job think you ghetto and ratchet, even when you may not be, that's what it's going to be. It's nothing that you're going to be able to do to change your mind, to change their mindset, because that's just how they think. That's something and you can't worry about that. You can't sit up and cry over that. You can't sit up and meditate over that and have you acting all crazy. You can't do that. You got to just be you, however somebody perceives you. And this is the issue that I have with many in the Black community. It's like we care. It's like, oh, well, if white people say it's wrong, then it's wrong because white people set the standard. It's like white people got to teach us how to be a certain way. And my thing is, it's like, dude, the very great a country of America that we stay on, that we live within, was founded on what? Violence, rape, pilgrimage. It was founded on that. It's a whole war going on right now, not between two Black groups of people. It ain't between two Black groups of people. It's a war going on right now because one group of people say, you know what, I'm gonna go just take some land because that's what I'm just gonna do. And it's just like, come on. If you're gonna teach somebody about violence, if we're gonna talk about violence, let's talk about violence, but let's keep it all in context and talk about the whole thing from the rooter to the tutor. Let's talk about it all. Let's not leave nothing out. Thinking that you are going to, and when I say you, I mean us as Black people, thinking that we are going to somehow, change the mindsets of people who already have their mind made up. You had a whole mixed president that everybody considered Black because of the one drop rule, Obama and his Black wife and their children in the White House, well spoken, intelligent, carried himself a certain type of way, married, went to prestigious schools, all of that. And you still had people in the dominant society that called this man everything under the sun. You still had people challenge his authority. You still had people paint his wife and his children out to be a certain type of way. It's like you got, and you cannot, again, if those in a dominant society want to think how they think, then let them. That's fine. Whatever. Don't focus on trying to change their perspective. That's what it's going to be. But you got Amy Schumer talking about she's still triggered and traumatized by Will Smith's Oscars 2022 slap. It's like, lady, please. I mean, it's a whole bunch that's been going on. You got actual people walking up in schools every other month shooting people up. I mean, like, girl, come on. Like, really, really, really. And I'm gonna tell you what it's about. They're using this incident to paint a picture of not just Black men, but the Black community. Because it was so many Black people coming out talking about, oh, well, Black people are keeping up the stereotypes. And see, because of the stereotype, the stigma that's already there, see, we're proving them right. See, we're showing them. Why are y'all so concerned with showing white people that y'all can act right and be like, why? Just be you. Be the best you. If you're not the type of person that go out there and do F shit, then you're not that person. Be you, because the people that are like that, I understand one or two Black people, they'll take the one or two Black people and judge all. But if that's what somebody wants to do because that's because they messed up in the head, that's how their mind is, then let them be delusional. Okay? But I'm not out here. You got Black people out here talking about they embarrassed. I think it was Shannon Sharp talking about he was embarrassed, and that it's not embarrassing to me. That's some mess that happened with Will and Chris Rock. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I am not a man. I'm not gonna walk up on a stage and slap nobody. That has nothing to do with me. If they want to look at Will like that, Will and Chris Rock like that, that's Will and Chris Rock. The next person, if that next person end up on the news, a Black person or a Black woman, when I see all these news images of Black people doing crazy stuff and they end up on the news, I'm like, okay, that's messed up. That's whatever. I am not embarrassed because that has absolutely nothing to do. Now, do I look at stuff that go on in the Black community and I'm like, I shake my head? Absolutely, I do. Because I think there's a lot of stuff that need to be cut out. But I made up in my mind a long time ago, I'm not finna be, because if I'm looking at every other thing that we do in Black society that we see online, I would be miserable. I would think I was not worth nothing. I would think that I was, I'm not gonna amount to nothing if I'm basing how I view myself and whether or not I'm embarrassed off of what another Black person has done. I don't do that. And I sure don't sit up and wonder how I can be good for white folks. Like, get out, all the way out. I conduct myself accordingly based off of the environment that I'm in, based off of my own morals, my own, ethics, my own code of ethics. That's how I live. I don't sit up and play a role because I'm trying to, like, no. Now, does what Will did to Chris Rock shine a light on Black men and how Black men fight among each other and with each other? Yeah, it does. But you know what? It didn't take Will Smith to slap Chris Rock for them to see that. Every other day, a Black man is on the news or is on social media because he did something. People did not need to see Will Smith slap Chris Rock to see or think like that about Black men. This is what y'all failing to realize. That stereotype and that stigma has been there for ages. And if you want to change it as a group, Black men gonna have to get together and be the best men that they can be. But I can't. Let me finish some of this video and then I want to play the Cheryl Underwood video.
If the master's house caught on fire, the house Negro would fight harder to put the blaze out than the master would. If the master got sick, the house Negro would say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick. We sick." He identified himself with his master more than his master identified with himself. And if you came to the house Negro and said, "Let's run away, let's escape, let's separate," that house Negro would look at you and say, "Man, you crazy. What you mean separate? Where is there a better house than this? Where can I wear better clothes than this? Where can I eat better food than this?" That was that house Negro. In those days, he was called a house nigger. And that's what we call him today because we still got some house niggers running around here. This modern house Negro loves his master. He wants to live near him. He'll pay 3 times as much as the house is worth just to live near his master. And then brag about, "I'm the only Negro out here." "I'm the only one on my job. I'm the only one in this school. You're nothing but a house Negro." And if someone come to you right now and say, "Let's separate," you say the same thing that the house Negro said on the plantation. "What you mean separate? From America? This good white man? Where you gonna get a better job than you get here?"
Okay, so if you guys want to hear the rest of the video, you can go to YouTube and listen to it. But I want to get into the Cheryl Underwood video because she was sitting up talking about how she is afraid to do stand-up comedy now. She's afraid that somebody may feel like they can walk on stage and slap her. To me, that is just extreme. That's extreme. That's extreme. With all the violence that is going on in America and abroad, a slap got you feeling that way. Like, Black women who are murdered every 5.5 hours don't have you feeling that way, like actual murders. But you are afraid because somebody may walk up and slap you. But lady, come on. And she knows these things because, again, she works in the industry where they do a lot of reporting on different stories. So they get a lot of different statistics. So it's not like you cannot convince me that Cheryl Underwood don't know these things. But see, this is the thing. The very thing that Malcolm X was talking about was a mindset. The higher that, unfortunately, not all, again, not all, not all, not all. I cannot say that enough because I know people will come on here and twist my words. But the more you level up and go up in your career, the more like-minded that you have to be when it comes to being in proximity to white people. They require that you think a certain way. If you're going to be in their groups and be around them, you have to act and think a certain way. Those are facts. In order for you to even be here in America, it's a requirement for you to be and think and act a certain kind of way. So when I hear people sitting up going harder than the paint, or however you say it, for white people, and they're the attack dogs, and they just going to the extreme, it's like, y'all look crazy out here. Again, nobody's not saying that you can't disagree. You can disagree. Nobody's saying that. This is not about that. But in my opinion, to get on national TV, have a conversation with white people about Black people. See, these conversations are not being had with Black people. These are conversations that they're having with white people about Black people. And it's like, girl, boy, man, hold up, dude. So let's listen to a little bit of the Cheryl Underwood, and then we're gonna go.
On CBS Mornings, what he was thinking as he watched the incident unfold. This is very interesting. Take a look.
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation.
Okay, and so this is Jim Carrey talking, and he's got some nerve, but that's a whole nother story.
I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it just...
And by the way, this video is not to take up for black, I was gonna say black men, but what I meant to say was Chris Rock or Will Smith. This is not what. Look, Chris Rock he has more money than probably everybody that's right here on YouTube right now, and who has ever even been on YouTube. Chris Rock got more money, more resources. If Chris Rock wanted to handle Will Smith, he could. If he, in any kind of way, if he wanted to sue him, he could sue him. If he wanted to be about that life, he could be about that life with Will Smith if he wanted to. Chris Rock don't need my help. He don't need our help. Neither does Will Smith. Will Smith got a whole gang. Believe me, Will Smith got a whole gang of people that's probably around him, surrounding him right now. He don't need nobody's help, nobody's protection. These are two men. So men gonna do what men gonna do. So this video is not to, defend anybody. Like I said, I have my own personal beliefs about what happened. My own. But I don't have to come on here to defend nobody. I want to point out what I think Black people are doing, and we don't even realize it. Many of us, not all, many of us, we don't even realize it, because I think that we have been socialized to just when the white people mad, we mad. When they outraged about something, we outraged. And then we got to be the loudest, especially if it's a Black person. We got to show them that we can go hard. We can be just as tough, if not tougher. That's a mindset. That's a mindset. There's been so many things that has happened that I could have easily had an opinion about and went hard on. But I said, you know what? When I see a bunch of people going in, and I'm just like, and it'd be different if it was like rape, murder, but we're talking about a man who slapped another man. And again, there is violence going on right now. There's a whole war. People are actually, like, men, women, and children are actually being murdered right now. The very land that I'm on right now was built on murder, rape, you guys. So we're gonna talk about violence. I'm not trying to say lessen I'm not trying to diminish what a slap is, because a slap can cause violence. Because you slap somebody, I mean, look, a slap will take you over the top. It will. But again, we're talking about a real life what happened. Chris Rock was slapped by Will Smith. Chris Rock decided not to do anything in that moment. That's it. That's it. But you got Black. Oh, well, if this happened and see, okay, fine. That's fine. You can think all of that. But let's not perform like that in front of the white people. Let's not, because what I see straight through it, and what a lot of these people are really trying to do is, I'm not like them. See, I'm the good Negro. I'm the good one. I'm the good Negro. See, I know how to act. See, give me a job. And I understand, look, you guys, I've worked in places where, I have had to, what they call code switch. I work right now, code switch. I get that. But you can still code switch and still stand on your principles and your values. You don't have to be, I mean, come on. Like, when I'm at work and, somebody start talking about whether or not a Black person was justified for being killed. Let's take Breonna what was the Breonna Taylor situation, and I hear a group of white people talking about, oh well, Breonna Taylor this, Breonna Taylor that. What I in that moment, I know that they're trying to bait me. They're trying to bring out the argumentative side of me. They're trying to bring out the hood, or what they think may be hood or ghetto within me. They're trying to bring that out of me. I don't engage in that. I don't engage in that. But if I have to, I know how to be nice, nasty. If I have to, I know how to use my words to slice and dice somebody if I have to. Because, you know, you got to know how to do that too. You got to know how to tell somebody off without cursing them out, using curse words at work. You got to know how to do that. And that's something that is learned on how we have. So I get it. I truly get that. But I'm going to tell you right now, look, everybody has to gauge what they want to defend. If Will Smith decided that that's what he felt like he needed to do in that moment, which to be honest with you guys, I don't think that was an actual I think that he decided in that moment, but I think it was more to that. And that's a whole nother story. I don't want to get on that. But anyways, let's play the rest of this video.
It really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
There was some question today.
Probably not with the suing part, but I do like as far as, you know, how, and that had happened in a situation, and like to me, but in that moment, everyone just says, we're going to pretend how they felt about him as a man.
There you go. What you thinking, Jay?
It's just going to be, he deserved that Oscar.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
He deserved that Oscar. That said, I'm interested to see what the repercussions are now. Them on stage together and
Fined. And I think that should be along the line. Will Smith should be fined and he should be suspended.
But just like I said at a meeting, it depends on who you are and how heavy the fine is and how necessary you are to the commerce. Because what really it showed, the line in Gladiator. Are you not entertained?
oh man.
Because nobody stopped to check on the dude that got hit.
Yeah.
Nobody stopped. See, to me, as a society, nobody stopped. Because first we were all like, is this real?
Yeah.
Is this a bit? And then when you find out it's not a bit, this is real, happening in front of people, no one still went up to Chris Rock and said, are you okay?
Well,
who did they console?
Absolutely.
And these are two men who we respect. And I'm going to say this as a comic. I am afraid now to get on a stage because on my third show where everybody been drinking, if you don't like my joke, do you now believe that you can get up and slap me?
Again, she's gaslighting you guys. Again, gaslighting. It does not take Will Smith to slap Chris Rock for people to now decide that they want to just go slap you. It don't take that. Because the average person that's going, and I've been to her comedy shows, again, okay, them comedy show tickets, they not Will Smith tickets. They're not Chris Rock tickets, okay? I'm just going to say that. So you're dealing with a whole different, you know, comedy club. You're dealing with a whole different environment a lot of times. And so it's not like a person that's worth millions of dollars is going to walk on stage and slap Cheryl Underwood, because that would be the equivalent of what she's talking about. And she's talking about people getting drunk and then deciding that they want to. Girl, that could have happened before people saw the slap. I mean, let's just be real and honest here. A lot of these comics, they're going into comedy clubs that are like in shady areas. Comedy clubs where they don't even have real pavement, parking lot pavement, concrete pavement. It's like dirt roads you rolling up in. So I mean, come on. And if you're deciding to hold a comedy show in these areas, in these places, that's on you. If you're not at some big theater or whatever where there is a security, or the place that you're going to be at have that security, and that's not an understanding or written in a contract, that's on you, baby girl. Cheryl Underwood has been in business for a very long time. Believe me, she know about them contracts. She know how to negotiate contracts. She know how to negotiate somebody a security. Because the only reason why Will Smith was able to walk up on the stage to begin with, because he was Will Smith. So if somebody's walking up on a Cheryl Underwood stage, believe me, they ain't nowhere near $1 million man. They ain't. More like a couple of $100 man, probably. Maybe even a few thousand. But they not finna walk up on a Cheryl Underwood stage just to slap her, because they don't. And she don't even make. She just this is the gaslighting, you guys. And I'm not trying to downplay the fear that she may have based on just like in general, like security. Like in general, I know when I go somewhere, I want to go somewhere where the security is going to be tight. I don't want to be sitting up somewhere and people start shooting. So I'm going to pay certain prices to not have to deal with that. And I get it. At the Oscars, people, go to these places because they don't want to deal with they don't want to deal with treating it like it may be the hood, people shooting and fighting. I get that. But there was no fight that broke out. You saw a man get slapped. It ain't no different than, and again, two men, it happened between two men. These are men. They know how to handle whatever business they want to handle. They don't need us and the rest of the world telling them how to handle their business. So, but this is the issue that I have with a lot of people in Black society. It's like, we got to go the hardest. We got to just go over and above. Do you hear any white people or non-Black people out here talking about they are scared to do stand-up comedy anymore? No, they not, because they're going to make their money. Because they know the places that they go to, a lot of times it ain't a bunch of Black people in those. And comedy is very segregated. You got crossover comedians such as, Kevin Hart. He's now a crossover comedian. Dave Chappelle, he's crossed over. You got many other ones. Y'all get what I'm saying. But you got most of the comedians, okay, your DC Flies and the most of the other comedians, they ain't crossover. 99.99% of the people that's going to see them are Black. Not white, Black. And Cheryl Underwood's, the people that go see her, they be Black. It be 99.99% of the people be Black up in there. Let's just be real and tell the whole truth here. I'm about taking everything into perspective. Now, let me say this. I do like Cheryl Underwood. So I'm not trying to beat up Cheryl Underwood, but I'm calling out the BS. It's just BS. She's saying these things because she knows that it appeals to the very people. The talk, can y'all show me where a bunch of people that are watching the talk? I bet you, I can guarantee you that the most of the people that are watching the talk, most of them are non-Black. I can guarantee you that. The talk is not now if it was like The Real, where most of the audience may be Black women, or if it was another, but girl, please. The View, the talk, most of the people that tune in are non-Black. Okay, let's just be real. That's just like Oprah Winfrey. When Oprah Winfrey first started, most of the people that was tuning in was Black. Once she got of a certain caliber, we all know she crossed over, and hell, Oprah Winfrey was like she was Black, but she was like a whole white woman. So, I think that's all I had to cover, you guys. I just wanted to point out the BS. I wanted to point out a lot of stuff that, like I said, we can be mad, we can not be mad, we can have our opinions, we can not have our opinions. We can, we can have our whatever. But to go harder than those in the white society, to me, is just that's doing too much. That's doing too much. That's really doing too much. And I'm not trying to downplay violence. Violence, I get it. Violence is violence. I don't support violence. I know I don't want to be slapped. I wouldn't want nobody in my family to be slapped. To be quite honest with you, I can't see anybody in my family reacting the way that Chris Rock did, because honestly, if Chris Rock would have reacted with a uppercut or something like that, that would have been understanding, and it also would have been justified, because I mean, what, he's supposed to stand there and just take it? People are going, your human nature is to fight back. So if he were to fight, and I'm not saying he should have, I'm just saying if he was, and it was an all-out brawl, and then people will be really talking about, black people and fighting and all this kind of stuff, I would have been like, okay, well, hell, you know, he did what anybody would do. But he chose to keep it professional. He chose to keep it whatever way, he chose to keep it. He chose to not respond in that way. And so he just took the slap and, went on. And as of right now, he hasn't filed any charges, but he can decide to file. I mean, I don't know what the limit or what the day is. I mean, I'm sure he's probably got a few months where he can decide to file the charges if he wants to. And who's to say that, I don't know. But again, I just wanted to point out all of the stuff that I saw with a lot of black people, where we are, we are taking on the mindset of those in a dominant society. And it's like, y'all, really? Like, really? So that's all I have. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and the commentary. Until next time, peace.